name is David Sanders. I'm the 2020 president for UUFC, Board of Trustees, and I'm happy to be here with you today. Once again, we gather ourselves in spirit as a community, scattered yet together. And we're glad that you're here with us. I also want to express a big thank you to those who spend hours preparing for and creating this service content. Susan Clay, who will sing "You Can Do This Hard Thing" a little later, and for Elaine Fredendall for accompanying her. You're in for a big treat. Also, I would like to thank Corey for his beautiful music and Reverend Terry for her leadership, as well as Elaine Faithful, who helped with the aesthetics, and Petra, who makes it all happen by weaving all these different video and song segments together. Once again, we appreciate her skills for that. You may want to look at your weekly connection email for a series of events and Zoom links for virtual gatherings that are going on throughout the week. And I'd also like to take this moment to give you an update on how we're doing with the search process for the interim. Our interim search team, which consists of Holly Ulbrich, our president-elect, Meg MacArthur, and myself, Dave Sanders, we've been busy looking at interim applicants. Holly spent a lot of time up front putting the content online, and now we've been looking at interim applicants, and by the time you see this video, we will have already interviewed 3 of the candidates that have applied for our interim position. So we're making some good progress. Our timeline is rather short to make all of this happen, so it's been a very intense period of time for us. But we're committed to providing the congregation with the best possible candidate selection that we can. If we are successful, we will have a candidate confirmed by the end of May. If our selected candidates end up taking positions with other congregations, we'll go into a second round, which will bring us into June for continuing the search process. So we'll continue to keep you updated as this process moves forward. And as we make milestone achievements, we will keep you well informed either through the weekly connection or through one of these announcements on Sunday morning. So stay tuned. Now I'd like us to take a moment and relax ourselves into this space and simply pause to be present here in mind, in body, and spirit. I'd like us to resist the temptation to fall into the next moment before we have fully lived this precious moment. And let us simply breathe for this moment. For our opening words today, we have 2 unconnected but still connected quotes. The first from Bilbo Baggins in The Fellowship of the Ring, and the other from John Shaw. First one, it is a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. That was from Bilbo Baggins, The Fellowship of the Ring. Our next reading from John Shaw is called A Place We Are Creating. The future is not some place we are going, but one we are creating. The paths are not to be found, but made. And the activity of making them changes both the maker and the destination. I'll pass it on now to the next part of our segment, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the service.
As we light our chalice this morning, let us share our affirmation. We gather together in a spirit of love with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. We hold in our hearts so many celebrations and concerns, great joys and profound sorrows. Today we are aware, especially of all the young people in our midst and across the country who are graduating and achieving different milestones. So our wonderful nursery workers are graduating. Duncan Williamson, Meg's son, is graduating from Clemson on his birthday with a major in environmental and natural resources. Aram Alam is receiving a master's degree from Clemson. Annika Duvall is graduating from high school and hasn't yet decided on which college she'll attend. Children of the congregation who are graduating from high school are Braxton Bostick, who's going to Winthrop College, Julia Kempton, Catherine Mobley's daughter, will attend the College of Charleston. Sorry, Julia. Toby Walker will attend Clemson this fall. So we honor these and all the young people who have reached these and other life achievements. May they receive the most of life's joys and the least of life's troubles. In addition to these celebrations, we hold up all those who have mothered and nurtured us, making it possible to reach this point on our life journeys. Today, we hold those for whom mothering has been the joy of their lives and those of us who find in our mothers a lifelong friend. We hold up today those for whom this day holds pain of lost children, of the inability to conceive, of abandonment, of abuse. We are grateful for those women and men who have helped young people find a safe haven and healthy, loving relationships when their own mother was unable to be a healthy presence. We offer forgiveness for mothers who didn't know how to mother or offer healthy love, or to be the mother that their children needed. We are grateful for all those men and women who have nurtured children who were not their own, who make it possible for so many to have happy, healthy lives, knowing there was someone who let them know how precious they were. In that spirit, holding all that is in our hearts, let us take a few moments of silent prayer and meditation. O love that will not let us go, we are so grateful for life, for all that has brought us to this place in our life journey, the challenges, the sorrows, the hopes, the dreams. We are humbled by the gift of life and the responsibility that each of us has to make a difference, some difference in the world, in the life of another. We hold up today all those who are suffering and are ill, particularly those with COVID-19 and those who struggle to continue to be helpers in our society, healthcare workers and underpaid garbage collectors and postal workers and people who make such a difference in our own ability to function. We hold up today our loved ones, parents, grandparents, children, grandchildren, friends, all the people we love and care about who we wish we could hug tightly. And we look forward to the day when it's possible to come back together in person to show one another how deeply we care. Our concern goes out to those who are suffering, those in Seneca whose houses have been destroyed, those who are homeless, those who experience increasing hunger because of unemployment, those who are sick at home because of lack of adequate health care. Our hearts are open. Our hearts are sad, and yet our hearts are grateful. We ask this in the name of all that is sacred. Amen. This year, I come to Mother's Day with a wide range of thoughts bouncing off each other. So I'm hoping this time of sharing with you will be the beginning of a conversation, either over Zoom or email or however we can communicate. Some of my thoughts are realistic, but they're challenging. I've become more aware of this year of the 50th anniversary and how close the 50th anniversary of Earth Day and Mother's Day, how close they are together. Somehow that feels powerful to me this year. After suffering from the greed of humanity this year, Mother Earth is taking a deep breath as humans isolate themselves. For so many years, we've not listened to scientists and concerned citizens who have pleaded for us to acknowledge and heal the suffering of the earth, our first mother. We didn't listen, and so here we are, with a huge, great toll in human suffering. We've been forced to go to our rooms. Perhaps we will finally acknowledge our need to recognize the suffering of the earth and to honor Gaia, who brought humanity and all living things into being. The ancients and indigenous people have always honored the mother of all. After all, if we don't honor our Mother Earth, will we truly know how to honor our human mothers? In our culture, if we continue to struggle, with how to honor and respect women as the bearers of life. That's a power only women hold. Sadly, in the same way we've not cared for and protected Mother Earth, we find people who seek to take away the personal power of women who want to have control over their own bodies. And we fail to recognize the ways that women around the world are often the sustainers of food systems and family well-being. Add to that our societal concern, as if this is something new in South Carolina. Our concern during lockdown for the safety and welfare of many women and children who are now isolated with their abusers. These are unsettling realities in this uncertain time as we celebrate this Mother's Day. And yet, we need to look at the harsh situation we are in so that we can claim and rescue the future of our most closely held values. Our calling today is to hold sacred the skies that are now blue in formerly polluted cities around the world, and to remember mothers and nurturers, both women and men, who care for the most vulnerable in our society. We honor Mother's Day not because all mothers are perfect, and bless you if your mother is your best friend. I truly mean that. But we honor Mother's Day because we want to honor a holiday in which humanity needs to recognize the sacredness of nourishing relationships. And I want to pause to say that this is not just mothers, but also fathers who co-parent in the healthiest ways for their children's well-being. I look at so many of the fathers in our congregation with deep respect for their commitment to their children and their spouses. Nurturing the young and vulnerable is at the core of the most sacred values of the human family. And yet, we forget. We often fail to recognize the quiet ways that our sense of self has been nurtured and sustained by mothers, fathers, grandparents, teachers, cousins, friends, colleagues. In a real sense, our lives are the reflection of the care, love, and nurture of all the special people who have supported us. So I want to invite us to take a moment to close our eyes and to think about the people throughout our lives who cheered us on and helped us stand again when we were knocked down, who put literal and emotional band-aids on our knees and our hearts when we were hurting. So let's just remember them for a few moments. all those people, the names of those who took time and energy and caring to support us. Today is a day to think about and to honor all those who've helped us become ourselves. Yes, it begins with our birth mother, our parents, but nurturing and loving children belongs to a community. It does indeed take a village to raise a child, not only because children need to learn all kinds of lessons, maybe lessons that their parents can't teach, but because parents also need care and nurture to offer the healthy role models that allow children to thrive. That need for a community is why I believe it's so important during a naming and dedication ceremony that we have our children and adults present. We are all, in some sense, helping to raise that child, helping to instill the values that ground every life. So nurturing, loving, being a role model for others is the foundation of human society. Let's face it, every one of us needs a Mr. Rogers to show us the way and to tell us that we are special. My worries for our children, for all of us in this crisis, is the growing philosophy that groups of people are expendable. Immigrant children, actually all immigrants, women, the elderly, the disabled, those considered useless. Who will be next? Today we see in varied forms, by growing numbers of people, the flagrant disregard and disrespect for those who are different. Even kindness is considered by many to be a weakness and a vulnerability. On this Mother's Day, we need to remember the original Mother's Day proclamation, written by Julia Ward Howe. It was a clarion call for peace after seeing the ravages of the Civil War. It was a call for women to protest the carnage of war and to hold up the ethics of love and unity and peace for all people. Perhaps now it's time for us to look deeply at the values we hold dear, values we might lose for the human family, for our families, if we fail to uphold the power of love and compassion to sustain human society. It is time for us to hold the best of human potential. That is the capacity and power to give life and hope and love and joy to another human being. This is not a weakness, but an acknowledgement of the worth of every human soul. We are called to protect those who need protecting, as if they were our own beloved child, our own beloved one. We are those who can help shape the young and impressionable, teaching them that they are someone to be respected, someone who has integrity and creativity and kindness and compassion in their hearts. This is what we honor and celebrate today. Not only the mothers, but the helpers, the nurturers, men and women, mothers and grandparents, teachers and role models who tell us in so many ways that we can do what is hard, what seems impossible. And we have gone on to do important things, sometimes great things, because someone at some point looked at us and saw our worth and dignity and said, you can do this hard thing. As we prepare to go back into our daily lives, please remember this. Whether we believe it sometimes or not, each of us has the power and the support to do hard things in our lives. So be gentle with yourself and look at all you have birthed in your life. Celebrate that creative power in you. As we go through these days, find new ways to nurture yourself, your loved ones, and all those with whom you come in contact. Know that behind you is your community of support, letting you know you can do the hard things that are before us. And know deep down that you are not alone. Blessed be. Amen.